I love the story of Esther, a Hebrew young lady who by a special set of circumstances became the queen of Persia. And you have this battle going on, the spiritual battle between the people of God and the people of the world. And Haman, the prime minister of Persia, just wants to destroy the Israelites, or wants to destroy the Jews. And he concocts this plan whereby he tells the king there are some subversives called the Jews, but if you'll leave it to me, I'll get rid of all of them for you. That's how much he hated one man, Mordecai. And the king was pretty much oblivious to what was going on really behind the scenes. And he said, well, if you think that's a good idea, if they're really subversive, go ahead, you do what you think needs to be done. But the Jews had an ace in the hole, and that is the queen was a Jew unknown to anyone. Mordecai gets word to her that you've got to save our people. And she basically says, it is against the law for me to go see the king unless he sends for me. Talk about the good old days. But that's a story for another time. She by law could not intrude upon the king. And she further says, I have not seen him in 30 days. And Mordecai gets word to her, and he says to her, you do not know, but whether you are put in the place you are in for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. And she sends word back to Mordecai, who is her uncle. And she says, tell everyone that you know to pray for me for 3 days. Fast for 3 days. And on the third day I'll go see the king against the law. And if I die, I die. If I perish, I perish. People, you could build a life with that kind of attitude. You can build a church with that kind of attitude. You can build a family with that kind of attitude. You need somebody to go, I'll go. You need somebody to pray, I'll pray. You need somebody to give, I'll give. And I'll do everything that I possibly can for the cause of Christ. And I'll pray for 3 days. And I'll fast for 3 days. And then I'll go do what God calls me to do. And if I die, I die. If I perish, I perish. People, I'd rather live one day going for God than to live 100 years in the lameness and sameness and mediocrity that most people live in. If we die, we die. If we perish, we perish. At least they can put on our tombstone, he died going for God.